Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. We're talking about Indiana, and it's the first time that we're talking about Indiana in a positive sense in like 3 months on this show, right? They beat Wisconsin at home, despite the fact that there was some kind of fire alarm pulled and they had to evacuate the entire building. Everybody in the assembly hall had to get out and leave in the middle of a tornado warning and then come back into the building for still, as far as I know, undisclosed reason for why that had happened. Um, I want to know, Tyler, why don't we see more of this from Indiana, right? Like, here's my big question with you. We talked about this, Randolph, the other day. Like, where do you view Indiana right now as a program, right? Obviously, North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, like the Kentucky, the teams at that level, I think you could probably put UConn in the mix right now, have kind of separated themselves. Where do you view Indiana in that kind of hierarchy of college basketball?
I don't view them in the same category, and that's not a knock to Indiana. They haven't done it lately, and it's. I think Woodson's a good coach. I think he's an NBA coach. He's much better coach than I could ever dream of being. But I will say that To came on here. I was on a show with him maybe a week or so ago, and he said that he feels like they're kind of like NC State. They won a national championship years ago, and all of a sudden they haven't really been the same since. And he kind of considers them in that category. And I thought it was a good analogy because it made a lot of sense to me. And I've talked about Indiana on here a few times, and I start laughing because I can't remember the last time they were actually really good in a contender. And that's where I'm at with them. I don't really put them in the same category as Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, and Kansas, UConn, as those schools.
Yeah, Randolph, I do just real quick. We got about a minute before we get to toast tonight, but I want you to react to this quote from Mike Woodson tonight because I've said similar to what he kind of said in this quote after the game. This is according to Jeff Goodman, who was actually at that game. Woodson said, "Quote: Every day I go to bed, I think about what it could have been like this year if we had Xavier Johnson early on. Xavier Johnson obviously came back tonight for the first time since January 30th. It was only his 15th game of the season. He's missed 13. Is that a valid excuse for some of the struggles that Indiana has had this year?"
You know what? We can never discount the value of a veteran guard. What is Xavier Johnson? A 6 year guard. He's
Yeah,
and
he's as
and
old as
you
Tyler.
can't.
Him and Tyler were on the same recruiting business.
I mean, we joke about it, but seriously, you can never discount the leadership. And one thing about Xavier Johnson, say what we want, he's a load in full court. He can heat up the ball and when he wants to, and he has an extra gear about him. And he's hasn't been a consistent shooter, but he does a lot of really good things to help you win. So anybody would say that and can use a veteran point guard. And it's like we talked about this before, Rob. It's not just him; it can be who else they missed out on him coming back to
Yes,
school. So getting that
that's it
guy,
right there.
yeah, and not having that guy available when you are missing out and turned down so much is just vital, man. And back to your earlier quote, the reason they emptied out the building is because Jeff Goodman was in there. They ran everybody ass out of there because Jeff was in the building. Somebody pulled the
Yes,
alarm when they saw his ass.
the water wasn't working at the graduate hotel, and he didn't have his soap with him, so he just kind of so he goes like 3 or 4 days without a shower sometimes, so it got a little smelly in there. Listen, you're exactly right. Not having Xavier Johnson hurts, and having him is the reason they couldn't build enough point guard play around. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field 68 content.